Hudson, aka the narrator. We are doing a presentation on Rosa Parks. I will be narrator and bus driver, Chanel will be Rosa Parks, and Nathan will be Raymond Parks. For the scene later, I actually have no problem with Chanel being on my fake bus, right?
Yep.
Enjoy!
Hi, my name is Rosa Parks. I was born on February 4th, 1913. My father, James, was a carpenter, and my mother, Leona, was a teacher. When I was 2 years old, my mother and father separated, so me, my mother, and my brother Sylvester moved to Pine Level, Alabama, into our grandparents' house. People threw rocks at me just because of the color of my skin. When I was 11, my mother sent me to live with relatives in Montgomery, Alabama, to go to a better school. The school was called the Industrial School for Black Girls. All the teachers were white from the north. The head of school, Miss Alice White, was a great teacher, but also strict. The school was set on fire twice just because white women were teaching black girls. In 1928, the school was forced to close. After everything that happened with my old school, I went to another all-black school. But then my grandmother became sick, so I had to drop out of school to take care of her. Shortly after my grandmother died, my mom became sick. So I wanted to stay in school, but I did not complain. For me to make extra money, I cleaned houses and I also sold fruit. I was also part of the St. Paul AME, the oldest church in Montgomery. The AME stands for the African Methodist Episcopal. I was 18 when I met my partner, Raymond. He was a very smart man and a nice person.
Tough times, but Raymond also disliked segregation.
Hi, my name is Raymond Parks. I was 28 when I met Rosa. My dad was a carpenter just like Rosa's father. But when I was very young, my father died falling off a roof. My mother, who had taught me to read and eat and write, died when I was a teenager. So I have been on my own for a long time in my life with no parents. On my first date with Rosa, I took her for a ride in my shiny red sports car. On our second date, I proposed. 2 years later, on December 18th, 1932, we got married in Pine Level, Alabama. Then we moved to Montgomery, Alabama.
Raymond wanted me to go back to school, so I did. In 1934, I got my high school diploma. At the time, it was very hard for black people to get a diploma, so when I got mine, I was very excited. But it was also hard for me to find a job. Later on, I got a job as a nurse's assistant. After my time as a nurse's assistant, I took a job as a secretary at the Army Force Base in Montgomery called Maxwell Field. Segregation at the time in military bases no longer existed. Blacks and whites worked together, but blacks still had to sit in the back of the building. I realized I had to do something about it.
I was also part of the NAACP. It stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Then I got frustrated with the NAACP and I dropped out in 1943.
In that same year Raymond dropped out of the NAACP, I joined them. On my first meeting, I was expecting to see Johnny May Carr from Miss White's school. Johnny May Carr was not there, but I stayed anyway. Since I was the only woman in the room, I was asked to take notes. For the next 12 years, I served as the secretary for the NAACP. I was one of the few women in the civil rights movement in the 1940s. My boss, Edgar Daniel Nixon, worked as a train porter, and he realized how different it was for black people in the North than it was in the South. He believed that black rights should change, but women's rights should not. I did not like the fact that black people could not vote, so I had to take the matters into my own hands. I went to register to vote for myself. I went at the time that most people were at work. I had to do a reading test only given to black people. But it was not just a reading test, it was a test on the government. I had to take this test 3 times before I passed. I was very excited when my registration came in the mail, but I could not vote just yet. By law, at the age of 21, you had to pay $1.50, and at the time, I was 32. So I had to pay $16.50.
That's not so much today, but money was worth a lot more back then.
I paid the tax on voting day, and I voted for Alabama's governor. My brother Sylvester moved to Michigan. He offered me and Raymond to come along, but we said no. In Michigan, we saw how blacks and whites sat on the same row in buses. Life was not getting easier for me. Raymond had bad health, so we did not make a lot of money, and my mom was living with us now. One day, I wanted to take the Cleveland Avenue bus, and this happened. Bus seems pretty packed in the back. Might as well go through the front door.
Excuse me, miss, you have to get off and go in through the back.
Sir, the back is passing. The back of the bus is full and I can't get through.
Well, I believe you'll have to.
But
You have
not.
to.
So I'm just gonna take a seat.
Just
here.
get off,
I'm
go
gonna
to
take a
the
seat
back door,
here.
get
Okay,
off, and
okay.
get off this
Okay.
bus.
Okay.
Sadly, this happened to blacks often.
After what happened, I walked instead of taking the bus to the department store I worked at. I had to act like everything was fine when people were rude to me. On Tuesday, December 1st, 1955, I left work a little earlier than 5 o'clock. I went to catch the Cleveland Avenue bus again, but when I got on, it was the same bus driver that tried to drag me off 12 years ago. And then this happened.
Excuse me, you guys will have to get up. You guys will have to go to the back because there's a white person who needs to sit here. Okay? You need to get up and go to the back.
There's no more seats in the back.
Well, then go to the back and stand.
It's kind of crowded and
Just
I can't
find
stand.
room now.
I can't, sir. Just
Hurry
stay
and
here.
hurry back there and stand. I will call the police.
Okay.
Police! Arrest this girl. She's not making room for a white person.
Okay. Come on, get under there.
Later, my name is Edgar Nixon. I'm her boss. I need her to be bailed. Here's the money.
Okay, you're gonna need to sign this paperwork. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go back my handcuffs. I don't ever want to see you in this prison again.
After I got out of jail, Edgar wanted me to file a lawsuit against the city buses. This lawsuit will stop the segregation on the buses.
I did not want Rosa to do the lawsuit because there is a chance of her losing her job or even getting killed.
I thought over everything and I said, yes, I will file this lawsuit because the Jim Crow laws had to end. And on December 5th, 1955, me and Nixon decided to boycott the city buses. It was because it was the day of the trial.
Soon, papers were being handed in from students like us about who or what we were fighting.
Fight the evil bus driver.
I'm the narrator right now, and I'm just gonna go over here. Ka-chink.
Oh, scare the narrator away.
The boycott lasted for more than a year. People of color walked to school and work every day. We had people volunteer as cab drivers for only 10 cents. At the trial, Jim Blake, who was the bus driver, was the lead witness, and two other white women that were on the bus were the witnesses. They lied, saying that there was an empty seat in the back of the bus that I refused to take. I did not share my side of the story because my lawyer did not want me to. My lawyer wanted me to be found guilty, and I was found guilty. I was also fined $14.
Money, it's a shame, but people can be prejudiced that way. And also, the concern of money going further comes up again.
The United States Supreme Court said that segregation was unacceptable, and in December 1956, all people of color were able to sit in any row of the bus they would like.
I was worried for Rosa because she was getting hate mail and even death threats. I started to sleep with a shotgun nearby. Nobody wanted to accept Rosa in getting a job, so we had to move. We moved to Detroit, Michigan, where Rosa's brother lived. I went to a barbershop school to get my Michigan license, and Rosa found a job downtown at the Stockton Sewing Company. In 1977, I died of cancer. 3 months later, Rosa's brother died of the same disease.
Medicine was not as good as today.
After my brother and partner died, I was very sad and alone. And on October 24th, 2005, I died at the age of 92. Before my coffin was taken to go get buried, my coffin was taken to the Capitol Hill to be honored. And then I was buried at the Detroit Cemetery in Michigan.
Thank you for coming. See everybody soon.